What is going on, everybody? Liv Moods here, back again with a little Guerilla Hoops Denver. We're talking all things Denver Nuggets today, and I actually just got back to the studio from today's Summer League practice where I got to watch them shoot around a little bit, but also got to speak to Hunter Tyson, Jalen Pickett, as well as the Summer League coach, Andrew Munson. I'm going to spend more time talking to you guys about what Hunter Tyson and Jalen Pickett had to say about Summer League, what they're excited for, who's been lighting it up in the gym, how they're feeling overall. We can start by talking about Andrew Munson. I don't have a ton to say about what he had to say. He definitely felt like today was a stronger practice than yesterday. He said they spent some time cleaning some things up, which is obviously a great thing when you've got new guys trying to find that chemistry, trying to get things together, things in order for these rookies as well as these bench guys. I want to start by talking a little bit about what Hunter Tyson had to say. Interestingly, we asked him a little bit about Deron Holmes and the early scouting report that he had on him. And his words were very high motor, good player, can stretch the floor, step out and shoot it, and has a really good touch. So that is obviously something that is very good to hear, very exciting to hear when you get a rookie and you're trying to mold them into a player that's going to work and be cohesive with the rest of the Denver Nuggets. That was kind of a sentiment that was shared across the board about Deron. We also asked Jalen Pickett how he felt about Holmes, and he said he's a great athlete. He plays really tough. He plays really aggressive. He fights for blocks. Overall, good athlete. So that's obviously a very exciting thing. I think there's probably a little bit of that, the growing pains. It's something that we've talked about even with Caitlin Clark, going from the college level to the professional level. There are some growing pains. It is a little different, especially from a physicality perspective. So to have Holmes already showing that athleticism and being mentioned by his teammates in that way is obviously a really great thing to hear. I was really interested in talking to Tyson. We spoke a little bit about what it's been like to play with these guys and how things have been going. And it sounds like they're already kind of gelling, not just on the court, but also off the court, which we know. I think that's something that has been the Denver Nuggets' advantage in so many ways, is that this is a team that's been building chemistry and culture for years and years and years. Jamal Murray and Nikola Jokic, despite Murray having injuries throughout that time period, spent a lot of time really building chemistry, which I think is what made them so unstoppable. One of many things that made them so unstoppable in their championship run. So to see the new guys kind of already being established into that culture is something that's very, very exciting. When we talked to Jalen Pickett, it was very interesting to get his perspective on things, because I remember mentioning on the last episode of this show, Talking Hoops, Talking Denver Nuggets ball, there was a concern from me even about, hey, what does our point guard depth look like right now? We've got Jamal Murray, who we know at times can be a massive injury liability, and behind him, who do you have? CB may be a starter for us after all. We don't know. We're not making a ton of offseason moves as of right now in Denver, which can be very worrisome. But behind Jamal Murray, who do you have? Well, you have Jalen Pickett. And we talked a little bit with him about how he feels this year going into Summer League in comparison to last year. He said they are on two completely different sides of the spectrum. He feels way more confident going in this season. And at one point he had talked a little bit about, this was a while back, had talked about the pace of the game being something that he needed to work on. In addition to that, he said he spent a lot of time shooting. He said that when you're on the floor, Jokic and Jamal will find a way to get you the ball, so you have to be able to make shots. So that is something that he has been focusing on. And he knows that going into Summer League, he's kind of that veteran. He's going to be the guy that has the ball in his hands the most. So being that leader is something that he's treating very, very importantly. But he was also asked about the opportunity that he has going to Summer League. It's not just, being a leader within these younger guys and trying to establish this younger culture, but it's also, hey, we don't have a backup point guard outside of you right now behind Jamal Murray. So do you treat this opportunity going to Vegas and playing in Summer League as kind of a way to prove yourself? And he said yes. He said it's both. I'm working on this to improve my game. But I'm also looking at this as, yes, it is an opportunity. And it's a big one. Obviously, we know Jamal Murray, those are very, very large shoes to fill. And I think he knows that. I think everybody knows that. But it sounds like he's been putting in a lot of work. He also said that in the offseason, he has been working on just getting into good shape, which obviously will help with the pace of the game, which is something he has expressed before that he has struggled with. So it was very interesting to get his perspective on how things are going, because he may not be a leader with the starting five, but he is certainly a leader as they go into Summer League this year. And he does have a lot to prove. I think Nuggets fans may be able to take a sigh of relief and feel a little bit more peace if we see him have a great performance at Summer League this year, knowing that, hey, as of now, we don't know what the depth of our point guards looks like. Obviously, we have been waiting. I have been waiting on what are we doing with Russell Westbrook? Is that a thing? It was being talked about. Nikola Jokic is fighting for it. What are we doing? We haven't heard a whole lot. We got a backup center for Jokic, which obviously, yes, we needed. Happy about that. But our point guard depth is a little worrisome. So Jalen Pickett really is going to be entering Summer League with a pretty big job to not only prove himself to his coaches, but also to prove to Nuggets fans that our depth is not something to lose sleep over. I still believe that it is. I think that Jamal Murray, the difference in talent and minutes played and experience between Jamal and Jalen Pickett is a pretty steep jump. It's pretty steep. Jalen Pickett did not get much playing time this last season. So if he is the guy behind Jamal Murray, it's going to be a very interesting season, because we know Jamal Murray, I would love to see him play every minute of every game all season long, but it's not going to happen. It's just not. It's not realistic. His longevity is something that's always been worrisome. He's an injury-prone player. And so we know that we're going to see minutes without Jamal Murray. And we kind of started to see last season a very healthy and cohesive rotation between Jamal minutes and Jokic minutes. But if Jamal is injured, you don't get Jamal minutes anymore. And we had Reggie Jackson coming up behind Jamal, who, yes, gave everybody a little bit of a heart attack when he would hit the floor. Maybe not everybody, but me certainly. Didn't always have the best decision-making skills on the floor. But he got minutes. He got minutes with the Clippers as well before joining Denver. So we saw that he was able to have great moments, right? We saw that he was able to hit a clutch three here and there. But we haven't really seen that with Jalen. So what we're going to see at Summer League is hopefully him, again, stepping into that leadership role and really treating this like an audition. You know, he's already on the team, but I think it would be really helpful for Nuggets fans everywhere to feel like Jalen Pickett can be our guy if we need him to be. Now, I hope we don't have to rely on Jalen Pickett that much, because if we are, that means that Jamal Murray is maybe battling some injuries, and I don't want that for this Denver Nuggets team. I think the best shot that this Nuggets team has in this upcoming season is a healthy starting four. I think that CB as a starter could work. Do I feel overly confident about it in this moment right this very second? No, I do not. I think that he's got some things to work on, but I also feel like CB, you know, he's won a championship at every level he has played this sport, which is not something that everybody can say. So having done that, you know, he's a coachable guy. My mother's calling me. You know what? That's so funny, because every time I try to call this woman, she does not want to answer. And then the moment I want to talk about the Denver Nuggets with my friends, all of a sudden she wants to ring my phone. CB to me, very coachable. There's things that I want to see better, probably more from a consistency standpoint, but I think that he's a guy that can at some point work very well with these other starting four members, AG, Jokic, Jamal, and MPJ. So Jalen Pickett, excited to see what he does. Yesterday at Summer League practice, they spoke to Julian as well as Duran, I believe. I was not there for that, so I can't speak on that a ton. But am excited to see what Jalen does. Hunter Tyson, obviously, been very, very fun to watch him. And believe it or not, when Jalen Pickett was actually asked about who's been lighting it up, he said Julian Strother's been looking great. So that's obviously... that feels good to hear. Julian Strother's been looking great. And he also said, Julian's really been shooting the ball well from range. Hunter, of course, but I think PJ has had a couple really good days together. He's a strong player. He can stretch the floor out for us, and he's excited to see what his role is going to look like. So that's obviously another really exciting thing to hear, that we've got a lot of these new guys that are showing some hustle and stretching the floor. We need that. That's great. But overall, the overarching theme that I have heard across the board from today, from Summer League practice, was we've got a lot of athleticism in this rookie class. We've got a lot of athleticism in these new guys, and that's obviously something that the Nuggets need. They need a little bit of that. I felt like that was kind of what Bruce Brown brought in the best way I can describe his game, besides he brought a lot of things, but he just had a very athletic game, which made it very fun to watch, but also was really important coming off the bench. So we need guys that come off the bench behind a Jamal Murray, behind an MPJ, behind an AG. We know AG goes body to body with just about anybody. He's got a very aggressive and physical game, and we need that from our bench guys. We cannot have a soft bench. We can't have a bench that doesn't contribute. So to hear that these younger guys are already showing a little bit of that aggression, that physicality, that athleticism is huge. Comments. Are there any comments that you guys want? I'll let my producers just feature whatever, and we can chat. I'll let the chat just kind of talk to me about whatever they want to talk to me about based on some of the things I've said. How do you guys feel about Jalen Pickett coming up behind Jamal Murray? As of now, that's our only option. So what are we thinking? When do you get to LV? Can't wait to see you in my city. So Cedric, I actually am not going to Las Vegas, and no disrespect to your city. I hate Vegas so much. No offense. I'm such a homebody. I love a movie night. I love a pair of sweatpants. I love, staying inside, okay? And Vegas is loud, and it's a late night city, and it's just not for me, which is very strange. My mother, again, just wait. Mother, I am currently live. Say hello to the people. Hello, people. She says, hello, people. So I'll call you in just a minute, okay? Love you, bye. Can you believe her? Can you believe her? Oh my gosh, the disrespect. So yeah, Cedric, no offense, but I am not a Vegas person. I'm just not. It's never been a city that I've enjoyed, which is so ironic because I'm in the space of gambling and sports betting, but I just don't love Vegas. So I will not be there. But I will be tuning in, and the next time I am in Vegas, I will certainly let you know. So Cedric, not this time, maybe next. What else do we got? Comments, how are you feeling? In my opinion, don't re-sign Jamal. AG is better. He deserves it more. Well, Jamal is here, and Jamal is staying. So I can see what you're saying. I do think that maybe one of the reasons that we aren't attacking the free agency market the way that we should is because we know we have to pay Aaron Gordon next season. I'm hoping that's why we're being cautious with our spending, because we cannot afford to lose Aaron Gordon. I will lose my flipping mind. I will have to buy a jersey of another team, whichever team he goes to. And I'm really close to buying an Orlando Magic jersey that says Caldwell Pope on the back. It's taking everything in me not to. But yeah, we can't afford to lose AG. We know we have to pay him next year. So really hoping that's why we're proceeding with caution and not attacking the market right now. That being said, we still need to attack the market. So Nuggets, what's going on? Next comment, what do we have from the people? Quit hating, LOL. One day says, love you mostly. Love you as well. Sorry, no hate, no disrespect. I just not a Vegas girly. I'm just not a Vegas girly. It's not for me. I don't enjoy it. Guys, I grew up in Denver. Denver, to a lot of people, is a snooze city, okay? If you like the nightlife, if you like being outside, Denver's probably not the city to move to. Now, if you like raising a cute little family and taking Sunday hikes and being one with nature and living in a beautiful place and kind of having a little bit of calmness in your life, this is the place for you. If you like the nightlife, if you're a city gal, maybe Miami, maybe Chicago, maybe Dallas. Not here, though. It's not here. You're not going to find the nightlife here. Well, you will. You just will probably be disappointed. I've had friends that have come to visit Denver many times, and it's a snooze fest for them. It's not for me. I love it here. I'm never going anywhere. But for them, snooze fest. So yeah, you guys, summer league today. That's kind of the biggest recap that I have for you. Is Jalen Pickett's going to be a very telling individual. It's going to be interesting to see what his role. I think we already know what his role is going to be at summer league, which is going to be a leader. He's going to have the ball in his hands a lot, and he really is going to be the leader going into Vegas for this Nuggets team, this young Nuggets group. So I'm excited to see what he does with that, and hopefully he gives Nuggets fans everywhere a little bit of peace of mind, because as of now, he's it. He's it behind Jamal Murray. That is what we're looking at right now. So if there is any if there is any injury to Jamal Murray, which I'm not hoping for that, wishing for that, praying for that, I'm actually doing the opposite, but we know that Jamal has a track record of being injury prone. That's just the nature of him as an athlete. So you really hope that Jalen can at least prove that he's a guy that can come off the bench and do his job. You don't have to be a Jamal Murray. You don't have to score 25 plus off the bench, but our bench has to do more. That's for sure. In those non-Jamal minutes, we've got to see more from our bench. Yeah, you guys, I don't know. The backup point guard role is a big one. We got a backup center for Jokic, which is obviously huge and very much needed. AG as our power forward is going to continue to be great. I would love to see what Peyton Watson can do in this upcoming season. I think Peyton Watson has immense potential, especially defensively. Losing KCP felt like we were losing half of our defense, maybe more. So P-Watt, I think, has a lot of potential. Now, where we run into something that is completely out of my control and out of Peyton Watson's control is how many minutes is he going to play? We did not see him play very much in this year's postseason, which to me was a little alarming, especially in the Timberwolves series, because I felt like he was probably one of, if not one of the only players on this Nuggets roster that could cause some defensive disruption to this Timberwolves team, because we've seen it before. I was at the game. I was in Ball Arena when the Nuggets were fighting for that 1 seed against the Timberwolves, and Peyton Watson was huge off the bench defensively in that game. Massive. Block after block after block. I mean, he played with a level of aggression that was mandatory against a team like the Timberwolves. So to not see him play a ton in that series this year in the postseason, and to not really see him play hardly at all in the postseason was definitely alarming to me. I don't know what happens behind closed doors. I don't know what kind of conversations are had in the locker room. I know for a fact that when we started to see Bones Highland not playing, there was a culture issue there. There was something where, Coach Malone and Bones did not see eye to eye. There was not compatibility there. And ultimately, Bones was traded. And I think Bones is probably running into the same issue everywhere he goes, because when you have a sense of entitlement that you deserve this, that, and the other, as the new kid on the block, it doesn't go over very well. Now, that being said, I have met Peyton Watson. I think he is an incredible person from what I have understood. I also know his uncle very well, and he is an incredible person, one of the best. Shout out to Brantley. Happy late birthday. But yeah, so I can't imagine that that's what's going on, but it does make you wonder, why are we not seeing more Watson minutes? Peyton Watson is not going to get any better sitting on the bench. I think there's got to be a level of patience that you have with him when he makes a mistake. He's got to grow through those. He's got to play through those. We've seen it with CB. CB has gotten better every minute he's played in a different way. He's improved. So the same patience needs to be given to a guy like Peyton Watson if we want to see him at his full potential. I do think he has a lot of potential. Defensively for this Nuggets team, he's going to be mandatory this upcoming season, because KCP, to me, felt like he was maybe 65% of our defense, and he's gone. So you gotta have somebody else that can make an impact defensively, and I think Peyton Watson can do that. So really hope that he's given more opportunity to play. I don't think he's going to get better sitting the bench. I think he needs to be out there playing through mistakes, and can't be benched the first time he makes one. He just can't. You got to let him play through it. That's the only way he's going to grow and get better, in my humble opinion. Now, I'm not a basketball coach. I'm also not a basketball player. Although I used to cook in a YMCA league when I was young as the only woman. You better believe I did. Now, the reason I stopped playing is because I made a basket, one singular basket, I think in my whole career with the YMCA league. I was maybe 6 or 7, made a basket and did a toe touch and did a little dance performance under the rim, and then ran and hugged every family member that was in attendance, middle of the game. And they had to stop because they said, Olivia, the game is still going, very much still in session. And all I cared about was my little dance performance and hugging my family and friends. So the end of this story goes a little something like, I became a dancer that moment moving forward for the rest of my life. So there you go. Not a basketball player, although I was one, and I was a baller, in my humble opinion. So I don't know exactly what Coach Malone's plan is for Peyton Watson, but I do think Peyton Watson has immense potential. I just think he's only going to reach that potential if he's given more opportunities to play, he's given more minutes, and he's able to play through his mistakes. We've seen inconsistencies from our bench across the board. We saw it from Holiday. We saw it from Jackson. We saw it from CB. We saw it from Watson. CB got a little bit more leeway. Jackson got a little bit more leeway. And I felt like Peyton Watson and Holiday were not given that same patience and leeway. It was, hey, you made a mistake. Sit the bench. You're done. And we just saw Peyton Watson's minutes slowly just poofing into dust as the postseason continued to progress. So makes you wonder what's going on there. I don't know. I don't have the inside scoop for you on that one. I did talk to Coach Malone today at Summer League practice. I was standing with BK, and Coach Malone walked up and shook my hand and kind of looked at me funny for a second. And I was like, yes, I have met you before. We were at Cherry Cricket. This is actually a very funny story. This was right after the Nuggets won the championship last year. We were at Cherry Cricket. If you don't know, best burgers in Denver, in my humble opinion. And it was the new location, actually. It was the one in Littleton. And my family was entering to have dinner, and all of a sudden we heard this round of applause, like loud claps. And I'm like, someone relevant's here. Or they're clapping for me. Maybe that's it. No, it wasn't that. But there's claps. And I'm like, what's going on? Turn the corner. It's Coach Malone exiting the bathroom and being asked to sign the new wall in Cherry Cricket. He was standing with somebody, and I don't know their relationship, but it was a gentleman who is a former TCU Horned Frog. Go Frogs. And he's like, hey, you're Liv Moods. I said, yes, I am. He goes, I watch your stuff. I know that you went to TCU. I also went to TCU. I love your Nuggets content. I want you to meet Coach Malone. I was like, well, twist my arm. Why don't you? Let's meet Coach Malone. So spoke with him. There's actually a video that I have up on my social media of him and I doing the brooming motion. We were making fun of the Lakers, trolling the Lakers in Cherry Cricket. And he said, I've actually seen some of your stuff before. He's like, I don't remember where it was, but I have seen you. That was awesome to hear, obviously. And then saw him today, and he kind of looked at me like, I think I know you. Last time he saw me, I had a blonde bob cut, so I probably threw him for a loop a little bit. That's gone, obviously. So got to talk with him. It was really good to hear from him. We talked a little bit about his personal life, his plans for travel this summer. Super cool. And then on his way out, he said, bye, Liv. Good to see you. So love that. Maybe I can convince Coach Malone to sit in the studio and talk Nuggets with me. At that point, I will definitely have to ask him about Peyton Watson. What is the plan with Peyton Watson? What are we doing? How do we feel? What's your beef? No, I'm kidding. I won't do that. But it was good to talk to him. So yeah, all in all, I think what we can conclude with this Denver Nuggets team right now is that there is still a big off-season change, in my opinion, that needs to be made. I think I am not rooting for anything but a successful summer league for Jalen Pickett, but I don't think he's enough coming up behind a Jamal Murray that may very well battle injury this season, because we've seen it time and time again. So that right now is the largest concern. We got Jokic at backup center. It'll be interesting to see how that transpires. And our young guys, our rookies, and the group that's headed to Vegas, it sounds like things are looking pretty good for them right now. They're all feeling very confident. They're all gelling. They have chemistry. They've got things in motion right now. Today's practice looked cleaner than yesterday's practice, so that's obviously very reassuring. And we've got athleticism in our young guys, which is huge. You cannot just depend on your starting five to bring the energy. That is why Bruce Brown was so special. He brought that energy. He brought that starting five energy off the bench. We need that from young guys. It can't just be about the starting five because it's a long season. It's a really long season. And we saw just how tired the Nuggets looked in this year's postseason. I mean, it was hard to watch. Talk about fork in eyeball. Like, oh my gosh, you guys, like, let's get you a Red Bull, sugar-free, so you can watch your diet. Sugar-free Red Bull, and let's pick it up, fellas, because what is going on? It's looking like a snooze fest out there. And that it was. But they got a longer off season, so I don't want to hear any boo-hoo complaints next year about being tired. I don't want it. I don't want it. Get up in the gym, get that cardio in, enjoy your rest, but let's get back to it, okay? And if our young guys and our bench guys can bring that energy and that athleticism when we have the non-Jamal minutes and we have the non-Jokic minutes, that is going to be huge for this Nuggets team. So very excited. I'm hoping Summer League goes great. I think we'll get great performances by Tyson, by Strother, and by Holmes. Those are probably my three that I would watch out for in Vegas at Summer League. Julian Strother, Hunter Tyson, and Deron Holmes are probably the three I'm very, very excited about. Now, Jalen Pickett, that I'm just going to be watching with a very close eye to hopefully ease some of my stress and my tension. Or I'll just go get a massage. Either one. But either way, that is what I'm excited about. Chat, anything left to say? How are we feeling? All things Denver Nuggets ball. And yeah, hopefully I'll be back at some more practices and get some more inside scoop, talk to the players, talk to the coaches, figure out how are we feeling ahead of the season. As we get closer to the start of the season, maybe we'll get some interviews and some clips and some comments from the starting five. The group that I would argue is the most important. Where are their heads at? How has their offseason been? How has training been going? How are practices feeling? We'll get all of that information, hopefully, from our starting five here soon once Summer League is wrapped up and we get all of the Nuggets back in the same gym. But Nuggets, what are we doing? What are we doing in the offseason? It's starting to feel a little eerie out here. I'm just saying. Chat, thanks for being here. I think that's all for now. We will be back again. I will be live tomorrow morning, actually, for another Guerilla Sports Daily, talking all things, whatever sports we want to discuss. I leave town again. I'm sorry, guys. My gosh, I have a travel bug this summer. I leave town again Thursday, but we'll be back next week and the week after and the week after. This is hopefully my last trip. Fingers crossed. But all that to say, let's go Nuggets. I'm glad I was able to go to practice today to get you guys some little nuggets of information, no pun intended. We'll get more of those for you. In the meantime, have a wonderful Tuesday. We will see you tomorrow morning for Guerilla Sports Daily with Liv Moods. Have a great day, and we'll see you tomorrow.